Welcome, welcome, everybody. Live with Dr. Carolyn Dean here on AchieveRadio.com. I'm Ginny Sanders, also known as Ginny Almighty. I'll be your host for the next 2 hours, along with our very own and eternally precious Dr. Carolyn Dean here on this Monday, March 25th, 2019. And I have to say that tonight is probably going to be a turning point in our radio show and a turning point in life as we know it on this planet, because everyone, by the time we are done speaking, will have become thoroughly convinced in the importance of Remag as a magnesium solution for the prevention of disease and for the protecting of our health. But more importantly, they are going to have Dr. Carolyn Dean at the forefront of their mind as a person who is a beacon of light, an absolute waymaker, a way shower, a visionary leader, somebody who is on the leading edge of creation at the forefront of her peers and among her peers, not just here in the United States, but around the world, for her incredible work with magnesium and for her absolute and stupendous stick-to-itiveness, tenacity, and willingness to put everything at risk and on the line in order to convince the public that if you have this mineral in your arsenal of health remedies, you have not only your health, but you do have health prevention of an epic nature. And having spent with her the last week at the National Institutes of Health in Bethesda, Maryland, outside of Washington, D.C., listening to the preeminent researchers and health researchers from around the world, and they're not just magnesium researchers, they are researching the causes and the cases of many, many health concerns and health diseases, not just for themselves, but for, or even for their university, but for their organizations, for their government, as is with the National Institutes of Health. I have become even more profoundly aware of the importance of magnesium in our diet. I have been more profoundly convinced of what it is not going to be able to do if you won't put it in your body. But more than anything, I've been more incredibly convinced of Carolyn and her wisdom and her simplicity, and not simple in mind or simple in manner, but for really her absolute imperative simplicity to keep people focused on the main thing, the main thing, the main thing. Magnesium is a master mineral, it's a master nutrient, and so many other aspects of the body rely on it. And we're going to hear all about it from her tonight, as well as taking your questions and your phone calls. Settle back for the most glorious 2 hours, and no matter what you do or what you think is important to you in your life right now, you stay tuned to this channel, and if you're listening to the archives, you block everybody out, and you focus on this next 2 hours, because this is really important critical health information, not just for yourself, but for your entire family, and for all the people who are around you that you love, and also for the people in the children of the next generation, because children are at risk as well. So, very welcome, 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 Dr. Carolyn Dean. Can we hear Carolyn? Carolyn? Okay. Carolyn? Okay, Bill, I'm getting complaints on the chat line that people cannot hear either Carolyn nor me. Hello? Bill, can you hear us? Bill? Can you hear us? Bill? Bill? Can you hear us? Okay. Hello?
I can hear you, Ginny.
Okay, I don't know why nobody can hear Carolyn. Hold on. Okay, interesting. All right, hold on, everybody. Hang in there. We will make some logistical changes with the phones and see if we can't get Carolyn in on a different line. Bob, can you still hear me?
Yes, I can still hear you, Ginny.
Okay, thank you. All right, everybody, stand by. I'm going to get Carolyn on a different line. How disappointing. I had such an incredible introduction. Oh, but thanks, everybody, for letting me know this is very distorted. Is it better now?
It wasn't distorted, Ginny.
Okay, well, there's so many comments on the chat line that it's distorted, it's fuzzy, I can't hear you, blah, blah, blah. So that's what everybody's saying on the chat line.
Hmm.
So that's why I was asking for Bill. Yeah.
Well,
okay,
I'm listening directly in the phone line. I'm not on the computer, so maybe that's a factor.
Okay, let me see if I can. Carolyn, can you get in now?
I'm on the phone. Can you hear me?
Yes, we got you. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, excellent. Carolyn, you missed your rousing introduction. Okay. Oh, Bill said...
I heard it. I did hear it. I don't know. I was able to hear you. You just couldn't hear me. So I'm just going to dive right in and agree with everything you said. And yes, Ginny and I went to this Magnesium Research Conference. It's held every 3 years. This year it was at the NIH, and it's the SDRM Conference, the International Society for the Development of Research on Magnesium. The reason it was at the NIH is the head of immunology at the NIH, he's a magnesium researcher, and he presented a wonderful paper about the immune system. The other really wonderful paper was by Wei Yang, Y-I-N-G. She's a distinguished investigator at the NIH in molecular biology. So several people from the NIH there, but the whole conference was about 60 people who were presenting, giving abstracts, holding up posters. So 60 pretty recent studies on magnesium. And some of the things that just kind of reinforced what we're doing. I don't know that there was too much that was really new. It just totally reinforced everything we've been doing. The reason why we went to this conference is a few weeks before that, Ginny and I had traveled to a university where we are conducting research. Yes, that's the big news. We're not going to say where, we're not going to say what the research is, but we got to the point after several years, there's enough funding that we could start paying for research to be done, and we're committed to doing that. So our research teams asked us if we were going to this conference, and we hadn't heard about it, although I know about this conference. So we just trotted up to D.C. and had a fabulous time. One of the first posters I saw there, Gopal Kumar, and the title of the paper is Magnesium Deficiency Enhances Oxidative Stress and Migratory Potential of Colon Cancer Cells. Now, what was important was the background that this paper gave an overview of. They are now saying that magnesium is a cofactor for more than 1,000 enzymes. You'll read 300, 325. I've been saying 700, 800. It's 1,000. So that's what we're going to be talking about from now on, 1,000 enzymes. You cannot deny the importance of 1,000 different enzymes in the body doing its work and requiring a lot of magnesium to do that work. And every one of the papers pretty much mentions how magnesium regulates the genes. It's an energy producer. It's an antioxidant. And that magnesium and calcium have similar chemical properties, but their role in biological systems is counterintuitively antagonistic. We've said that over and over again, that magnesium will fall if you have too much calcium, and if you have enough magnesium, it will keep calcium in solution. They said in this Kumar paper, magnesium is nature's physiological calcium channel blocker. Magnesium is deficient in the diet. And they said greater than 50% of the population consumes less than the RDA. It's actually more like 70 to 80%. Now what this Dr. Wei Yang, the distinguished investigator at the NIH, reported in her paper. Now the names of the paper, they're just way out there. It's hard to follow, but it's cation trafficking is essential for both nucleic acid synthesis and degradation. Nucleic acids are what makes up the DNA and the RNA. And this is really very interesting because she's saying enzyme catalysis, which is enzyme breakdown, has been studied for over a century. How it actually occurs has not been visualized until recently. By a combination of crystallocatalysis with X-ray diffraction analysis of reaction intermediates, we have observed the processes of DNA synthesis and RNA degradation at unprecedented atomic details. I mean, these are the things that get these people totally excited. So what they're showing is how the RNA allows the DNA to make protein, then the RNA breaks down to live another day. Now, what she discovered is that it's essential for the enzyme substrate complexes to capture not 2 but 3 magnesium ions en route to forming the protein products. And binding of the 3rd magnesium may be the rate-limiting step in DNA synthesis. Now, there's a lot more to it, but if I can just briefly say that they used to think that 2 magnesiums got this reaction going. But when they were able to look directly at the atomic details, they found that a 3rd magnesium jumped in to limit the rate of the DNA synthesis. Now, this is very important because another doctor spoke up and said, well, you know, manganese can get in there and just keep it going. And, of course, Dr. Yang said, no, that's not the point. The point is that magnesium the 3rd magnesium comes in and slows things down. It's exactly what we always say about the body knows. The body has it all figured out. We haven't got a clue. I mean, they're just finding this out now that, oh my gosh, you know, magnesium really knows what it's doing. The 2 start the process, and then the 3rd one kind of slows it down and moderates it. So this is what we found throughout the whole conference, that just the incredible importance of magnesium and having enough of it to be able to dive in and create this balancing act. A doctor from the Netherlands, he talked about kidney, the key organ of magnesium homeostasis, so important. I mean, doctors in clinical practice keep talking about, well, if you got any kidney problems, you better not take magnesium. And the kidneys are all over magnesium. They absolutely know how to hold on to it. But what isn't being looked at is how calcification of the kidney arteries can be throwing the kidneys out of balance in terms of their magnesium. Another doctor, Forrest Nielsen, he created a bit of a kerfuffle because he was saying, well, you know, the magnesium intake data shows that the average amount of magnesium being ingested by people is less than we thought. So maybe the magnesium requirements are lower. Now that's real convoluted. What we've got is way lower amounts in the food supply. Someone had a slide that 100 years ago you could get 600 milligrams. I keep saying 500, and now you're lucky to get 250, and I say around 200. So everybody's in agreement that we're not getting enough and we do need more. Dr. Toya said magnesium and cardiovascular biology is important in health and disease, and reducing the calcium to magnesium ratio is important for optimizing vitamin D status. So they're talking about heart health, they're talking about vitamin D, and the need for magnesium in the whole picture. Another doctor talking about calcium and magnesium ratios and vitamin D, and the conclusion was reducing calcium to magnesium ratio optimizes vitamin D status. Then comes Dr. Michael Lonardo. He's a medical doctor at the NIH, and he's talking about magnesium regulation of the immune response. And, there's some words here that'll be a bit complex, but inducible T-cell kinase. The T cells are your immune cells, and in Epstein-Barr and HIV, these T cells can be diminished. So inducible T-cell kinase, the enzyme that helps make T cells, requires a second magnesium binding to a site. Used to think it was just one, but it's two. This, again, like Dr. Yang mentioned in her process for RNA and DNA synthesis, you needed more magnesium. So this was very important, and his conclusion was that the T cells are dramatically lower, and Epstein-Barr virus is activated without magnesium. You hear about the medical medium who's talking about Epstein-Barr virus and how everything is Epstein-Barr virus, but I don't know that he mentions magnesium nearly enough. But Dr. Lonardo puts it forth that Epstein-Barr virus is activated in magnesium deficiency conditions. I think he even said something about take your magnesium during flu season. Another doctor, this is interesting, dietary magnesium alleviates experimental colitis. She said there was a strong correlation with colitis and low magnesium. The human gut microbiota of 100 trillion microbes is dominated by gram-positive bacteria, which are increased with adequate to high dietary magnesium. So that's good. But low dietary magnesium increases gram-negative pathogenic bacteria. So the conclusion is that magnesium availability modulates the severity of colitis and gut microflora composition. High magnesium restrains potential pathogens and favors competing good bacteria. Another woman, PhD, the effect of magnesium and vitamin B6 combination on severe stress in healthy adults. And as you know, we work with Remag and Realign. Realign has all the B vitamins methylated and food-based. A doctor from Japan said magnesium is a secondary messenger in early development stages of neurons. We know how important the magnesium is for the nervous system, and they're proving it here. They've proved these things on and off over the years, but what's happened in the technology of research, they've got so many more instruments. They can be in there just taking pictures of everything. It's pretty awesome. The slides were incredible. So his lab demonstrated that magnesium is this secondary messenger in neurons with an important role for facilitating structural and functional maturation of neural networks. Another doctor, I think she might have been from Scotland, magnesium, skeletal muscle health, osteoporosis, and fracture risk. Magnesium is related to skeletal muscle mass in men and women, and it's a stronger association than protein intake. They have talked about low dietary protein can put people at risk for osteoporosis, and magnesium is stronger than the protein factor in bone density. The bulk of the talk was then about genes and how the genes make proteins that are ion channels that mediate calcium and magnesium entry into cells. And what we realized is that genes and genetic research, they're the big sexy now, and they're getting all the funding. So the things we know clinically about magnesium and the importance of it in health, they're proving now on the genetic level. If these genes are not turned on by having the correct amount of magnesium, then things don't work. It's just that basic. And there was some mention of testing throughout the various talks. They talked about how serum magnesium was not really that accurate. Not too much about RBC magnesium, but the ionized magnesium, the people that make the instrument called NOVA, N-O-V-A, the company's Nova Biomedical, it's the instrument that Burton and Bella Altora created. Mostly it was Bella. And this is the testing that I keep promoting. What Nova talked about mostly is using it in critically ill patients. So that's what they're going for. They're going for the ICU, emergency medicine, doing magnesium levels, following people's magnesium and calcium and the other electrolytes. Whereas what I want to do is have people tested just in general, because we don't have a good sense of the magnesium deficiency abounding. So I didn't really get a chance to talk to those people. I know who they are now, and I can get in touch and find out where we can send people for this testing, because I think it's so necessary. So in summary, it was good to be there. There was a lot of redundancy, especially in the genetic talks. They just covered actually cardiovascular osteoporosis. There was a talk about athletes and magnesium. The colitis study, the immune study was very, very important, but there's so much more that they aren't covering, and they certainly didn't cover any clinical application. No dosing, how much to take, nothing like that. It was a research conference. I mean, that's how it was labeled, and that's how it stayed. So I'm going to just turn over to Ginny and see what I left out. Ginny?
Yep. Well, no, I think you got it all. They did go through. Did you talk about the diabetes part?
No, I missed that. You go.
Okay. Well, I think the thing is that the major, there's 65 medical conditions that are magnesium deficiency related. And, those 65 conditions are documented in Dr. Dean's book. And, the thing that cracked me up about it personally was everybody says, every time I say to Carolyn, what should I do? She says, take Remag. And it's like, like she's like, quote unquote, stuck on stupid or something. Like, that's her only solution, is just take Remag, like that's all she knows. But really, honestly, when you look at the far-sweeping statements of these researchers showing we don't talk about cancer on this show, and we don't get into cancer diagnosis or cancer prediction or anything else like that, but they are looking at magnesium and the prevention of cancer, or how magnesium interrelates and suppresses cancer and immune responses. I mean, this is absolutely huge. And you sit in that conference for 3 days and you listen to these people talk day after, presentation after presentation after presentation, and you really do get to your own saturation point, or at least I did in mine, where I was just like, I think if you have Remag, now not any magnesium is going to do, and for the reasons that they discussed in the conference, one of which being is that there is an inconsistency in dosing because of the absorption factor. But once you can get to where Remag is, if you've got Remag, you've got a really good shot at correcting, and not only that, but preventing any kind of disease, decay, and decline to the degree that it might have been present prior to your use of Remag. With the diabetes talk, with the cardiovascular talk, osteoporosis, there was a very good displacement or an increase in the role of magnesium, Carolyn, wouldn't you say, and the displacement of the value of calcium, wouldn't you say?
Yes. One of our researchers that we're working with, she's well known, very well known for her calcium research, and she's been really given an incredible education about the importance of magnesium. You see, when these researchers go after a topic, they have to isolate. They have to, just zone in on one aspect, the one aspect being calcium or magnesium. But they're finding they really have to broaden their scope. And I don't know how they're going to do it, because it's just not in their mindset.
And they do focus on something so intensely, and also sometimes to the exclusion of other things, and that was so great. I mean, we already heard last year Dr. D. Nicolantino coming out and saying that subclinical magnesium deficiency, and the word subclinical meaning that it's not something that's easily discernible through a test. So it's not at the first clinical level. That means, the first clinical level is when you walk into the doctor's office and they give you a battery of tests to eliminate the big things. And then the next level is when they have to go to the next level of testing. So it's not easily discerned, but it is the primary cause of cardiovascular failure. Okay, cardiovascular disease. And now to hear this immune system guy saying that this is a major public health crisis because of the immune system. So you've got the osteoporosis people flipping and switching and saying it's not calcium, it's magnesium. Well, I don't know, Carolyn, how many blogs do you have to that effect that you've written over the last couple of years? Diabetes people, same thing. Children, adolescent magnesium deficiency, very important, same thing. They're saying the kids are showing up with magnesium deficiency, even younger, because of poor diet and too much sugar. So they're all saying what Carolyn has said, but it's not just like it's Carolyn's opinion. It is scientifically backed up, and that's what I thought was so incredible. Not that I don't read your research. There's 600 medical references, but just the depth of it, and from all around the world.
Great. Okay, so let me go over these questions, and I think we've answered several of them already just with the introduction. But this one, I've been a user of Remag for over 2 years. My husband suffers from palpitations, irregular heartbeat, reflux, muscle pain, fatigue, and many other symptoms, which I know are magnesium deficiency. I've tried numerous times to get him to take Remag. He has tried it but can't stand the taste. etc., etc. Lotion, the Remag lotion, he can't stand the smell. I want to help him, and what can I use in a capsule form? I've started to say this more and more. Get some empty gelatin capsules off Amazon.com. Squirt in 30 drops, that's quarter of a teaspoon, and start building up the dose. It's a piece of cake to fill up a capsule with the liquid Remag, and he'll love it. As you said, he believes in the Remag because he saw your blood pressure come down. So fill up the capsules. Make that a new mantra for people who just have this icky taste and can't seem to get over it. Was there any mention of the use of magnesium against Parkinson's disease? Yes, I do talk about Parkinson's in my Magnesium Miracle book. Magnesium is deficient in people who have Alzheimer's and Parkinson's. I mean, whether the Parkinson's is related to sugar in the diet, well, you stop the sugar. If it's related to heavy metals in the brain, then our Realign and Remag will be helpful for gently detoxing. So you can Google my name and Parkinson's. I've written about it, or look at the section on, I think it's Parkinson's, Alzheimer's, and Aging in my book, Magnesium Miracle. Next note here, my favorite lotion, Remag. It's helping with my eczema and general well-being. Now she says she had an episode of vertigo. She's not saying it's due to the Remag, but just she had this vertigo. Now, periodically, people can feel dizzy, and it can be like a little inner ear infection. And basically, you can go and check with your doctor and look in your ears and make sure it's not an external ear infection. Otherwise, I just tell people take more Remag, take more Realign, take some Pico Silver. If it's an infection, then all those will help. Question here. There are different types of magnesium. How do we know which type is right and for what condition? We're going back now to what Ginny just said. Everything about using magnesium for the 1,000 things that the body needs it for can be covered by Remag. Remag is that well absorbed that it becomes the best magnesium to take for any level of health or disease. The directions we give are the same for everybody. You get to the point where your body's saturated, your symptoms are no more, you're feeling great, and then you're adding the other products as well, the Remide, the Realign, Restructure, the Rna Reset Drops. We're at the point now in our kind of ongoing research ourselves with our products that people who take our complete bundle, the 5 products, Remag, Remite, Realign, Restructure, and Rna Reset Drops, they're doing the best. They really are. There is something in the Rna Reset Drops that is undefinable. We're kind of skirting around the human research on that. We have tons of clinical testimonials, but we skirted around that by doing an agricultural study. You can find our webinar called the Rna Reset Webinar, where in Maui we did an experiment with the farm that we help support. One plot of land we put the Rna Reset mash. It's the barley sprouts left over from squeezing out the Rna Reset Drops. We put the mash in one plot. The other plot, we didn't do anything. At the end of the 25 days growing cycle, the plot with our Rna Reset mash produced 85 pounds of saleable radishes. The other plot with nothing in it but water and dirt produced 3 pounds. The difference, there's a video I shot. The difference is when you look at the Rna Reset plants, they're healthy, vibrant, big leaves, and pests and worms and bacteria don't attack something that's healthy. They went after the other plot and the radishes were all wormy, and the leaves were all kind of weak and battered down. So the moral of the story is...
And there were no weeds. The important thing, there were no weeds. That's unprecedented.
Right. Yeah, so there are no weeds. So it wasn't dead soil where parasitic weeds and worms and bacteria would intervene. If you're healthy, you stay healthy. If you're weak and diminished, then the body gets attacked. So to me, that's a big, big reinforcement of what the RNA drops are doing. Okay, so that was a bit of a sidebar. Did you want to say anything about the RNA Reset Drops, Ginny, while we're on that topic?
Well, I mean, other than, gosh golly, I think everybody should probably be using them by now. That's for sure. That's for sure. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Continuing on, ionized magnesium blood test, is it available to the public? Was this discussed at the caucus? So yes, I mentioned that. It's not available to the public. We have to keep pounding our doctors and our labs to get that technology. This question, I'm a 70-year-old female. I've tried several Botox procedures into my bladder wall for nocturia, waking up at night to urinate for the past 2 years. It's helped somewhat. She says, I've been spraying magnesium onto my skin for a couple of weeks. I took magnesium citrate in water, but it annoyed my digestive tract. I also have IBS. Your Remag will arrive today. I'm anxious to try it. Will magnesium help to calm the bladder and help IBS? Well, the study that we reported on about colitis says it helps with IBS. I've talked about it for IBS when people get any sort of spasm, gas and painful spasms. The magnesium is going to help that, but it's also helping balance your intestinal flora. But what we've heard from our customers about incontinence and bladder problems is that they themselves have wondered if they have a kind of calcified bladder neck and urethra, which holds it open and makes them leaky. So we've been told by our customers that they've gotten off their adult Depends diapers by saturating with the Remag, which they think is dissolving their calcium. So that's how I think the Remag is going to work. Someone here is saying, I take magnesium glycinate for depression and insomnia. The insomnia is better, but not for the depression. What else can I do to alleviate? We do recommend TrueHope.com for their mega multiple vitamin and mineral. Unfortunately, Ginny, I've heard recently that they keep telling people not to take our Remag, which is just ridiculous. So if you do we never tell people to not do anything. I think it's very unprofessional for people to do that, especially when they don't know what our Remag is doing. But if you do the True Hope, which is a mega multiple vitamin, mineral, amino acid that has gone through a lot of therapeutic trials and does help manic depression and anxiety. Now, we would say perhaps first, though, do our Remag, do our Remite and Realign, get your B vitamins, do our products. The Rna Reset Drops are very helpful as well, and see if that's what gives you the detachment that you need from this type of depression that you have. The next question, what are safe health sources of magnesium I can give my 3- and 4-year-old, and recommended foods? Well, there's not a lot of magnesium in the food supply, but for children, we find that the Restructure protein powder is something that they really love, and it's a really good balanced meal for children. As for the Remag, you can give them the children's doses. It's half the adult dose, or you can use Remag lotion. And you can call our customer service for more input. Question, what does the NIH report say about osteoporosis and magnesium? Now, it wasn't an NIH report. It was at the NIH. Several NIH researchers were there, and a couple of the presenters talked about the absolute necessity for having magnesium to make your bones strong. I've always mentioned that it's the pliability factor in bones that magnesium supplies. Magnesium and AFib, how high can you go with supplements? This is a practitioner who's saying, I have a patient who's supplementing with 400 milligrams of magnesium glycinate, has AFib episodes. They are getting better but not resolved. I really think he needs more magnesium, but need to support my recommendation with his cardiologist. And this is the problem, Sonia. The research papers aren't talking about dosage, unfortunately, with AFib. They all say when they're talking cardiovascular that it does help arrhythmia, it does help AFib, but no one has the dosage, and all the magnesiums are different. What I personally found with my heart palpitations, they weren't AFib, but my heart palpitations, I needed to go up to 1,200 milligrams. And you can do that with something like Remag because it doesn't have the laxative effect. Perhaps you could get your patient to read my AFib book, Atrial Fibrillation, Remineralize Your Heart, and see if they can make their own decision about taking the Remag and taking it in higher doses. Question, what topical magnesium products have the best transdermal absorption? Well, it definitely is Remag because it is a picoionic, stabilized ionic form of magnesium that's well absorbed. Question, I'd like to figure out how much magnesium I need as well as how much calcium. Calcium I think is easy. I say 600 milligrams following the UK and World Health Organization recommendations. For magnesium, you really do have to go by how you feel and how long you've been magnesium deficient, how many magnesium drains do you have, stress, drugs, taking a lot of antioxidants can all drain magnesium. And it could be 600 to 900 milligrams, which is 2 and 3 teaspoons of Remag. You go by how you feel clinically. You can look up the 100 factors that cause magnesium deficiency. I think it's called Gauging Magnesium Deficiency. Type that into Google in my name, and you'll see a big long list to determine how deficient you might be. Someone says, I have chronic constipation for many years and a slow bowel transit. Can magnesium help the nerves in my bowel, and how much Remag should I take? She's using Realign and Restructure. Basically, it's like I said, start slow and low. We tell people, everybody, just start with a quarter teaspoon. Don't stop anything else you're doing. Build it up, and you might get to 2 and 3. I got to 4 teaspoons before I started to become saturated. This note from a 56-year-old cyclist, recently self-diagnosed with primary orthostatic tremors. Now, I hadn't really heard about it. I know the condition. So this is a male, orthostatic tremors. If you look it up, it's a rare movement disorder characterized by rapid tremor in the legs that occurs when standing. It disappears partially or completely when walking or sitting. Now, this was discovered in 1984, which leads me to believe, hey, this may be a magnesium deficiency, because as the more magnesium deficient we become, the more these very strange diagnoses are made. So personally, I would take Remag, and I would build it up to the 2, 3, and even 4 teaspoons. But also, when you start doing that, when you're taking a lot of magnesium, you want to balance it out with sea salt in your drinking water and the Remite. Someone is saying, I'm taking Remite, experiencing loose stool, and I also take Calm Magnesium to sleep at night. So that's when you stop. Calm magnesium citrate is going to be much more laxative than Remag and Remite. And what you do then is just take a little more of your Remag at night for your sleep. But the Calm is causing the laxative effect. And what else? If my magnesium blood test shows normal, do I need to still take it? Well, I don't know what you mean by normal. I want people to be in the high range of the RBC magnesium. Serum test doesn't really give you what you want to know about your cellular magnesium. So I keep telling people, take it for your symptoms because the blood test really isn't that accurate. Just taking a drink of Remag water. Someone says I had a magnesium RBC test done, and she's saying different tests show different things. That's a problem. There's nobody standardized these things, and everybody's going to show something different. So I'll see about answering that question by email. And then someone else, Deanne, is saying what's more absorbable, magnesium oil or ionic liquid. Of course, our ionic liquid is much more absorbable, and the magnesium oils, I found they caused a rash when I tried to get enough absorbed transdermally. They were too irritating, whereas Remag liquid or the Remag lotion have never bothered my skin. So, unbelievably, I've finished the mailbag of about 21 questions, Ginny. We have a few minutes left.
Of course you have. Zoom. Okay, let's let everybody know how to get a hold of you, Carolyn, tonight and talk to you this evening. If you're interested, 602-666-6027 is the number to call. And if you're on the line and you have a question or comment for Dr. Dean, you can just hit your keypad. You've got to hit star 5. Star 5 on your keypad is what's going to raise your hand and let me know that you want to talk to Carolyn. Otherwise, your phone will remain on mute and we won't hear you. So right now, I don't have anybody raising their hand, even though I have a ton of callers. So if you want to talk to her, you've got to hit star 5. Otherwise, I won't know who wants to talk to her. Somebody typed in and said, I received my 3rd bottle of Remag lotion and it's watery. Is this normal? I never had it watery before. It's not quote-unquote normal. We changed the preservative on the Remag lotion, and it did affect the way the viscosity of the formula, but we dealt with that, and the next bottle should be fine. The most important thing about the Remag lotion is that it's got, each bottle is made where you've got 200 milligrams of Remag per teaspoon, and a teaspoon is 3 pumps. 1, 2, 3 pumps. That's 200 milligrams. So that's what you're really looking for, even though sometimes, maybe a little watery, or sometimes, whether it's a little bit thicker. It's always going to be different because of the way that the Remag works with all the different constituents in the bottle. But the most important thing you're paying attention to is definitely that 200 milligrams. We've got some questions on the chat line, Carolyn, so let's talk about those, and then we'll take some phone calls. Oh, I see waving hands. All right, so let's do that. Does that sound good?
Yes.
Okay, a couple questions from the chat line. Will consumers ever see magnesium content on labels like calcium, sodium, potassium are currently labeled?
Well, supplements are supposed to have magnesium on the label, but are you talking about foods? And I don't know that.
In the food fact label on the bottom,
right.
There's the main ones: iron, sodium, calcium, potassium. Those are the main minerals that make the cut every time. Vitamin A, vitamin D. And then they don't have magnesium as that standard, and probably because it's in so little of our food.
I think that's what I would think, because I have seen it occasionally, and it could be that it's just not there anymore, which is exactly what we've been saying.
Yeah, and I think that now I have seen it on a label where, like, for example, say something like with prunes or like an apricot or dried apricots or something, or nuts, when it's visibly high, like when it's 30% of the RDA or some kind of like magical figure like that, then they'll have it on there. So we can talk with our people in the know and see if we can get a more clear answer about that for you, though, Diane. So we'll do that. Mark typed in and he says, I don't want to sip throughout the day. I need to take it later in the day because it relaxes me too much. Otherwise, sipping all day.
Jenny, I'm losing you. Your voice has gone all blurbly.
Oh, okay. Can you hear me now?
That's better. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
So Mark was just typing in and basically saying that, when people say that they don't want to take the Remag because of the taste, they don't want to take it because of the having to sip it throughout the day. They want to make their own choices. I want to take it at night or I want to take it at a single shot. That's fine. I mean, that's not a problem, right, Carolyn?
Well, it is a problem if then they come to us and say it's not working. Seriously. I mean, we're getting to the point where, as we're drumming into you that magnesium deficiency is a serious health crisis, and we're setting the protocol that works, and you're saying, well, no, I'm not going to do that, and you do it against our protocol, and then you say it doesn't work. Well, that's not true. We really want people to understand that the cells want to be fed slowly and consistently. We have people saying, oh, I take it every couple of days and I'm not that much better. I mean, we don't get these emails all the time or these calls. It's very, very rare. But at the same time, we don't know how many people are just dropping out because they're not doing it right. So we will constantly say, do it right and you will see the benefit. And if you don't want to do it right, then just walk away from it. We're here to support you doing it right. So I'm coming down a bit strong, but that's because I'm just out of this conference where I see these researchers spending millions and millions of dollars on this research, and nobody's paying attention to apply it clinically. It's like there's a whole world of research, and then over on the other side of the room, there's these doctors who are dealing with magnesium deficiency symptoms and calling them diseases. It's really, really stupid. What is going on that people don't see that they should be applying this magnesium research clinically? It just doesn't make sense.
Right, very true. And I definitely think that that's where our strong suit is translating this into the public discourse and into public health. I mean, that's what you're going to get the Nobel Peace Prize for, the Nobel Prize, is for public health, for making the public aware, in spite of the tide that turns against them, that their health concerns can be mediated with nutrition and appropriately balanced and properly made, supplements like Remag, Remite, and so on and so forth. So, yeah, I can see where you're coming from. Sounds good. Okay, we will hear what Mark's response is to that if he has one. Okay, Paul says, I'm having good results taking Remag and Remite. I'm taking 2 teaspoons per day, and it has stopped my AFib. Yay. Okay, wait a minute. Very good, Paul. We are very happy for you, and we will never stop celebrating that particular situation. We will continue the celebration right after the top of the hour. because I have to take a station break here for just a second. But we will come back and answer your question as well as continue the celebration. Hour 2 coming up, everybody. Stay tuned.
We'll be back with Hour 2 of Live with Dr. Carolyn Dean, along with host Ginny Gunther, after this brief. So get updates and resources online by visiting drcarolyndean.com.
Psychic radio, holistic radio, spiritual radio. This is achieveradio.com. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.com/achieveradio.
AchieveRadio.com. Here we go now. Go to the Carolyn. Here we go now. Here we go now. The wellness scene with Dr. D.
All right, everybody, welcome back. Hour 2, live with Dr. Carolyn Dean here on Achieve Radio. Thanks for everybody for tuning in, including my wonderful brother in the whole wide world and my sister-in-law. I always love it when they listen to the show. All right, so everybody listen, we're going to continue with our conversation with Paul, who, as you remember from our first hour, is having great results taking the Remag and Remite and has stopped his AFib. He wants to know now, Carolyn, how does he know if he should be taking calcium as well? He tends to get cysts from time to time, which are calcium deposits, so perhaps he's getting too much calcium and doesn't need to supplement. Yep, where, Carolyn?
Am I on?
You're on.
Okay. Right. I write about calcium in the Invisible Minerals Part 2 book, /Remite Recalcia. You have to look at how much calcium you could be getting in the diet and go for 600 milligrams in the diet and or our Recalcia. I used to find that when I ate a lot of yogurt, I would start getting more heart palpitations because of the calcium. And I would have to either take more magnesium or stop the yogurt. So I had a good kind of feedback system. But I think the 600 milligrams is a good thing to aim for, diet or Recalcia, and then see how you feel. I agree if a person has been calcifying themselves over the years with fortified foods or even taking calcium supplements, you could have an overload. When I'm low on calcium, I think I feel it in my knees, but on the keto diet, I've been eating more cheese and heavy whipping cream, so I'm getting enough calcium in my diet right now. So there's no yes/no answer to your question, Paul, I'm afraid. It's an experiment.
Okay, excellent, excellent. Okay, Aaron types in, can you speak to the best absorption rate for someone just starting your products, Transdermal with the lotion or taking the Remag in water?
I would think it's Remag in water. We haven't done that study yet. It would be an interesting study to do. The parents of ADHD and autistic children say that the Remag lotion seems to absorb really well. I would go for the oral Remag sipped through the day, because think about it. If you're sipping it through the day, you're probably getting 15, 20, big sips of a couple ounces throughout the day. You can't do that with the Remag lotion. You're only going to be putting it on once or twice a day. And if you're trying to get 600 milligrams, that's 3 teaspoons of Remag lotion on your body. So it makes more sense to start with the oral Remag liquid.
Okay, very excellent, excellent, excellent. Okay, let's see. Diane, Diane, I'm trying to catch her. I have IBS and have absorption products. Had to get to 2 teaspoons before I felt better, and drinking 2 liters a day to make the effect last through the night. In the morning, my symptoms started again. I have severe deficiency in cardiac arrhythmias. Do I need to take a higher increase as needed?
Well, does she say how long she's been taking it? Because it's a matter of taking it for long enough to reach saturation.
Okay. So, Diane, let us know how long you've been taking it, and also are you using your sea salt in your water? That's another good thing for us to know. Okay, excellent. And then let's see. Tamara asked, Dr. Dean, did you speak at the conference to address the issues between the research versus clinical application?
No, I wasn't a presenter. I bumped into people I knew, people from Peru even. It was amazing. It's an amazing time to meet people. But mainly I think when Ginny said something in the blog about how people took my words, it was mainly just me spouting off in, one-on-one altercations with people. Right, Ginny?
Altercations, you're funny. It was really kind of hilarious. One of the guys that we met has taken Carolyn's work and translated it into Peruvian, and is like his mentor is the Carolyn Dean of Peru. So the word is getting out all around the world. I mean, it's amazing. And I'm talking about the word meaning Carolyn's words, her words translated in this guy's book. But she's just like, okay, great. Bless you.
People from China came. Hang on, Bob. This doctor from China came up, and he said that his friend translated, some highlights from my book, and there's another guy from Italy. Oh yeah, I know your work. Yeah, it was like offhand. It's very funny. Yes, Bob?
Yes. Since March 20th was your birthday, the day they started the conference, Ginny would sort of sneak in the fact you had your birthday this week, and then it would come out that you were 70 years old, and that caused incredible jaw-dropping, including one Asian Indian woman who said, I'm going to start doing whatever you're doing.
Yeah, right. Yeah, but Ginny was using me as a trial balloon for all these people.
Let's just make it clear that I was not sneaking it in. I was alerting everyone in the restaurant that it was Carolyn's 70th birthday, and they needed to come over and check her out and bring her something with a flame on it, and I wanted everybody to be singing. So, yes, it wasn't subtle, but it was fun. But she's her own walking advertisement. I mean, I wasn't, I teased her and said I was using her. She's her own walking advertisement. I mean, we went from 8 o'clock in the morning until 10 o'clock at night, 4 days of huge lectures. The topics were incredible. The lunches for 20 minutes. There were no breaks. They didn't have coffee for the people from Italy, which was just beyond the scope of what those people could bear. And then we turned around, took everybody out to dinner. We were out till 10 o'clock every single night for 4 straight days. And Carolyn was just humping along, just doing her thing, being her usual self. I mean, not many 40-year-olds can go at that pace, much
right.
let alone.
So Carolyn, is probably the best birthday you ever had. Drawn out.
But you weren't there, Bob. You weren't there. It was so sad without Bob.
Well, you were on Skype with me every night, so that was okay.
Okay, good. All righty. Yeah, it was a great birthday. I never celebrated, so Ginny made up for like decades of no birthdays.
all in one fell swoop. It was great. I can guarantee you there will be a permanent block on Carolyn's calendar around her birthday. She will never travel with me like that ever again. She was just like, will you please stop? I'm like, no. Okay, let's take some phone calls, you guys. Let's take some phone calls. Let's go to area code 804, the great state of Virginia. 804, you're on the line with Dr. Carolyn Dean. If you could give us your name and then state your question or comment.
Oh, hi. This is Ivana. I had called right when the call started, and you were having problems with people not being able to hear you, and Bob said he confirmed that he was on the landline phone and had no problem hearing. And so all I wanted to do was just confirm the fact that I was on the landline that had no problem hearing you. And but Dr. Dean, I want to thank you for all your work and your willingness to share it with us. We all love you for that.
Oh, thank you. What's your name?
Ivana.
Ivana, yes. Yeah, hello. Thank you very much.
I'm just starting on the product, and I'm getting used to. I am just, for some reason, I'm confused as to the sips. What's a sip? And, I just don't want to be gulping it, or I don't know the difference between a sip and a gulp. So I'm confused about that.
I think we've defined it. I know Melody Rose defines it when she writes it out to people. Ginny, do you know how she puts it?
What is a sip?
Yeah, doesn't Melody Rose say something like you take a few swallows every half hour or something like that?
Oh, yeah. I mean, you're trying to get, if you look at what a liter is, yes, I do. It was, hold on, I'll look it up right now in my FAQ. Keep talking just one second.
Yeah,
because we can send it. Yeah, we can send it out to you. Some people just intuitively know you're just trying to slowly saturate your cells. So, I mean, some people gulp. Some people sip, but I hear you. You want to know exactly what would be the perfect thing.
Yeah, I'm into doing stuff the very best way so I can get the best results. That's what I'm all about. So I did. Everybody was saying sip, and things I was reading was sips, but I was gulping, and I don't want to gulp if I have to sip.
Right, and we have an FAQ. Ginny's looking it up right now, and what you could do, Yvonne, is right now email into support@rnareset.com. Ginny will grab your email and send you the FAQ, okay?
Oh, wonderful. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. We'll hear from you again, I know. You're going to keep us posted, right?
Yes, I love you. I'm getting more and more of your products, and I am sold on the idea that your company is the way to go, and I'm leaving all my other products that I'm big on supplements ever since the 60s. Because they've helped me in the 60s with some serious things. So I've been sold on supplements. And
well, I mean, Yvonne, I recall, I think you're in your 80s, are you?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, don't you think that maybe 20, 25 years ago the supplements were better quality? What do you think?
I would think so, because I'm reading all sorts of bad things about supplements nowadays. You can't trust the labels that that the stuff they say is in it is in it, and
it's gotten very commercialized, and that's why I got into it, because I knew I needed the best magnesium I could find or build for my heart. And I realized I had to make my own, and then it took off from there to the other supplements. So, yeah, I know you want to have the best quality, and that's what Ginny and I make sure we do.
Right. So I'm letting go of my other supplements, and I'm basically going to go 100% with you, because I trust you and I believe you. So I'm excited about that.
Okay, thank you, Ivana. Now, like I said, email Ginny, support@rnareset.com, and she'll send you that FAQ on sipping versus gulping, okay?
Yes.
Okay.
And
thank you.
I can just give it to you really quick, but I will send it to you as well. That there's about...
No, don't give it over the... No, people. You don't want people... You don't want people emailing you and saying, how can you sound so healthy when you're 80 years old?
Okay, no problem. Just email me at support. I'll send it.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Okay, bye, Ivana.
Okay, let's go to area code 248. 248, you're on the line with Dr. Carolyn Dean. If you could give us your name and then state your question or comment.
Yes, my name is Mary, and I called about maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago. Ivana just basically, whatever she said to you really was what I wanted to say. I wanted to give up all of my supplements and just stick with you. I'm getting ready to put your order in. I just only have a quick question. I called because I said I had AFib. I'm still in AFib, been in AFib since last year, and also I had a thyroid removed, and so I thought, should I start off with, I already have your lotion, and I have your books, so I just wanted to know, should I get Remag and Remite and just start off that way? I just bought some salt, Himalayan salt, today.
Right.
So I was figuring, should I start off with that first?
Yeah, I think so, Mary. When you have to take kind of high amounts of Remag for the AFib, you don't want to throw your other minerals too far out of whack. So that's where the Remite comes in to, balance you out on all your minerals. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. And I was listening to you when you were talking about the calcium. They told me I had to have calcium supplements. And so I was just going to do away with the supplements because I didn't think you can, when you were talking about getting it from foods, I don't know why they didn't, mention that you can get them from foods. So I was thinking, would it just be all right just to take the Remag, Remite, and then your calcium supplement?
Yes, the Recalcia is really well absorbed because when they take the thyroid out, oftentimes they pull out your parathyroid as well, which is what regulates your calcium. So then they think you need to take calcium. But, Mary, you should really follow your blood test for calcium to make sure that you're getting enough.
Okay. Yeah. Because I'm about to get that. And my last one, you mentioned vitamin B. Is that in any of those, or do I have to go out and get some vitamin Bs?
B as in Bob is in our Realign, and we made it so it's food-based or methylated, so it's really well absorbed. It's not synthetic.
Okay, so then I should get Remag, Remite, and Realign. And just hold
and
off
Recalcia.
Oh, get Recalcia too? Okay, so then
I think so. If they've told you have to take calcium, it implies that they took out your parathyroids. Either they meant to or they did it by mistake. So you should really ask them that, and you can email support@rnareset.com and ask for my parathyroid excerpt from the Magnesium Miracle, unless you have the book, and then you can look up.
I just got the book. It just came in.
Okay,
so.
perfect.
So I'm all
so
set.
you can look.
Figured.
Yeah, you're all set.
Right, and then I can just get rid of all the other little vitamins I bought at the vitamin shop. I'll just leave those alone and just stick with yours.
Yeah, if that's your preference, I know.
Yeah.
If that's your preference. We don't like to tell people to stop things, but you know what we say, Mary, is that people come to us with a whole list of problems, and they're on a whole list of supplements, and it's like, well, why are you taking them if you're still feeling bad? But people take these things just out of the hope that they're going to feel better. And when they start taking our supplements, people do feel it. They start feeling better, and they either just wean off the other ones or put them aside because, they never did help in the first place.
Oh yes, because I had my hair done, and a whole lot of it came out with. I'm assuming it's because of the blood thinners and the beta blockers, and I was a complete mess last week. So I said, this is it. I've got to get my life right. So I'm the order. I'm just waiting for everything to come in. I do have to add the other two. You said add Realign and Recalcia, and then that would be okay to start off.
Correct. Yes, and read through the book, and then come on here or email support and ask your questions. We're here because see what happens, Mary. In the beginning, people like Ivana, she'll tell you, I'm going to phone up, I'm going to email and ask questions, and then after a certain amount of time, your questions are all answered, you're feeling better, and that's it. And then we're on to the next group of people. So we don't mind the questions at all because we know that they'll support people in their transition. I mean, this is a whole new world for you. And we're just here to say, you and tens of thousands of people have done this, and we can kind of predict what's going on. But everybody has a little different story, and, we're willing to hear it and just tell you what our experience is with other customers.
Well, I will call back with a praise report.
Oh, wonderful.
Okay,
Thank you so much, Mary.
All right.
You
bye-bye.
too. Bye-bye.
Okay, everybody.
Yay!
Yay. Okay. And going to area code 906. 906, you're on the line with Dr. Dean this evening. If you could give us your name and then state your question or comment.
Yes, my name is Valerie Olson. I'm a health professional in Michigan, and I have a question about people who are dealing with both anxiety during the day and poor sleep. I'm wondering if a good way to take the Remag might be to do the sipping during the day with the first half teaspoon to spread out, the trickling in of the magnesium, and then to take an additional half a teaspoon maybe an hour before bed to hopefully help with quality of sleep until, and they may need a higher dose than that, to build up reserves, and then maybe they can cut back. So that's one question.
Yes, so let me answer that, Valerie. Yes, that's what we end up telling some people if they're taking it and they're still having sleep problems. And yes, take either extra at night or split their dose and have a good amount. Because look, you're hopefully in bed 7-8 hours, so you're not going to be sipping your Remag, so you may need that extra amount. So yeah, that's a very valid approach.
And one other question I have is, how common do you see it with beginning with a quarter teaspoon that people experience loose stools only because they may be detoxing is my guess, because I surely know that a quarter teaspoon is not too much. And so I think I remember you talking about that on a previous program where, okay, the body's been magnesium deficient for so long, and all of a sudden you give it something that's well absorbed, and even a quarter teaspoon could maybe set off detoxification. Do you see that?
Yes, we do. I mean, we don't hear from people where everything is hunky-dory as much as we will from people who, I took a quarter teaspoon and I'm worse. But, yeah, it's exactly as you say. If we delve into it a bit more, there's toxicity, there may be some IBS, there may be yeast overgrowth, and the body's just trying to take the opportunity to dump and detox. So we tell people in that case to maybe just start with even 10 drops of Remag. We may tell them to take some bentonite clay to help absorb toxins, and look at the yeast book, Reset the Yeast Connection, and finally get into a good yeast detox. Because I find that magnesium and mineral deficiency and yeast overgrowth are the two biggest culprits for the chronic total body meltdown that so many of our customers have.
Do you know of any beneficial effects? Well, of course, there will be because it's helping with detoxification, but what about when people have mold infections, which is becoming so increasingly more common? The benefit would be that, the immune system is boosted, detoxification is enhanced. It should be a very important piece of that puzzle, too.
Right. Well, mold and yeast cross-react. You'll find people with yeast overgrowth in the fall or the spring with the extra rain, moldy leaves on the ground, moldy basements. I mean, you can look at anybody's house and often find a little water spot in the wall, and that's a leak somewhere, and that's mold. So, yeah, people have to really look around for those environmental mold sources. But I don't know if that was your question, Valerie.
Well, if they have mold infections, which is the case with some of my clients, if that's an issue, along with yeast, the benefit of making sure the magnesium levels are optimal is going to be just enhancing the fight against those infections, isn't it?
Yes, and I don't know if I'd call it a mold infection or maybe it would be more of a mold allergy. And for that, I send people to homeopathy. There are BioAllers is a brand, BioAllers, and they have drops for mold and, well, there's one here for mold, yeast, and dust. And sometimes those remedies can help people, but it is getting rid of the mold usually in the home. If there's a room in your house that is moldy, get rid of the source, and then put an ozone machine in the room to kill any remaining spores. I'm pretty sure I did a blog on ozone. Just type in ozone and my name and see if you find the blog about exactly what kind of machine to buy and how long to leave it in the room with the door shut and with you out of the room. You don't want to be breathing straight ozone.
Okay, well, good. Thank you so much. I really appreciate all the work you've done and all the people that have been so helped. And your work is really, really, really appreciated. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Valerie. Are you working with Ginny and Jackie on our practitioner outreach?
I didn't know about that. I'm rather new to, I've only listened to a couple of other programs, so I didn't know about that, but I would like to do that.
Okay, well, email Ginny at support@rnareset.com, and she or Jackie will get back to you, okay?
All right, thank you so much.
Awesome. Okay, bye-bye.
Goodbye.
Okay, excellent. Let's go to Area code 310-310. You're on the line with Dr. Carolyn Dean out in the great state of California. If you could give us your name and then state your question or comment.
This is Shireen, and I have comments, beautiful comments, of course. I cannot, Dr. Dean, thank you enough for the amazing, amazing products that I have been blessed with by you.
Oh.
Yeah, really. You know, I really think there is, first of all, only God heals people. And the product that has holiness in it, which is based on honesty, is the product that has the holiness of God. And that is why it works. So I have to give it to you. I really think these are being made with 100% true honesty of the heart. And that is why each and every one of them are so effective on the body.
Thank you.
Me alone, I can tell you that I just realized little by little the things that I had, the symptoms that I had, and they are better and better. I just realized it now as I was writing the list that I used to get so low energy if I was being in the heat. My heart couldn't pump enough blood or oxygen, and that is why I would get really energyless. And now I realize that symptom is gone. There was calcium deposit on my heel, one of my heels, that I would say, oh my gosh, when can I wear a real shoe without my orthotics in it? Because only the orthotics would help me to be able to walk long distance. So that deposit of calcium from my heels is much, much better. And I have to tell everyone that before it goes away, it hurts. Do not let it go because it hurts, because it's being absorbed or it's being broken. That is why there was a time when I could not put my heel touch the floor. It hurt that much. But I am pretty self-conscious and intuitive in this matter, so I thought to myself, it must be something happening because of the Remag and Remite that I'm taking, that the calcium is being absorbed. That's why it hurts so much. So first I didn't put my foot down, but then I pushed it down so hard, and I said, let me break it. Maybe that gets it better, and really it was better. So I have a much better skin, more energy, and I felt arthritis pain was seeping into my body really strongly, but after I've been taking these, all my arthritic pains are doing much, much, much better. I've been on the products for about 7 months. The first 2 months I didn't take it so religiously, but after 2 months I realized that things are changing. So first I got the Remag, and then I added the Remite and the Remag lotion, and then I started getting the bigger sizes, the Pico Silver, and Realign capsules. I take them casually. I give them more to my husband because he doesn't want to take the Remite, Remag, drops in water and stuff. But I also found an amazing tasting thing that I make. Maybe some people who are complaining about the taste would benefit by it. I use what do you call it? It's pure organic cherry juice, tart cherry juice.
Oh, yes.
Pure organic cranberry juice that has no sugar added to it. and I add a dash of salt to it, and my Remag, I put like 2 teaspoons right now, and it tastes so good. I mean, I cannot take it sip by sip. I just want to gulp it down because it goes down so easy. And so one thing, I have a question is I ordered the Renew Serum and the Realign drops. I've been taking them. After a few days of Renew Serum, and first of all, I saw, my goodness, such a difference. All my wrinkles are pumping up. And then I realized that I started getting rash above my eye, on my eyelid, on my upper eyelid. And the rash started coming to more down. And I didn't know at that point, am I taking too much Remaglimide? Am I taking too much Realign serum? The
RNA Reset.
RNA drops, Or am I putting too much Renew serum? I really didn't know, so I started, and I was invited to my niece's wedding in Italy. So I had to get better. So I started drinking water so that by the night of the wedding, which I had only 3 days, thank God it got much better. But I wanted to know what was I doing that was causing this, not to do it again.
Well,
because I did it again, and it happened again.
Yeah, with the Renew on the face, sometimes people will have a bit of a detox through the skin. Ginny, what's the feedback about that? Because I know some people have talked about a rash coming out on the eyelids or on the face. I mean, we tell people to dilute the Renew serum with Remag lotion. Like, it's very concentrated, and it may be that, we tell people just use a couple of drops, but if it's too concentrated, you can dilute it with Remag lotion. Right, Ginny?
Yes, and also just keep in mind that the Renew serum is made with ozonated olive oil, and that ozone is an antifungal and an antibacterial, and it will draw out toxins. So if you've had that kind of a reaction wherever it was on your face, I would just, like you said, dilute it with the Remag lotion and just let the skin go through its cleanse, and then you can resume using it.
I actually use it with fractionated coconut oil, organic one.
We did not choose, Sharon. We did not choose to use coconut oil with the concentrated Renew serum. Renew serum is concentrated RNA drops, and we felt that the coconut oil would not allow the penetration of the Renew serum through the skin, so I would not use it with the coconut oil.
Oh,
they're not that they're not that compatible. So that may be part of it.
Okay. I'll really take a note on that. Okay. I have just a few little questions, if I may.
We do have to speed up a little bit because there are a whole lot of callers. So let's be quick.
Okay, I know. I'm being very quick. How much Remite with 2 teaspoons of Remag should I mix?
1.5. 1.5.
Okay. And is it important where on the body to rub the Remag lotion?
No, not at all, except I started with the backs of my upper arms because they were all kind of dry and a little bit bumpy, and that all went away. Anywhere that you want hydration. Okay?
All right. Okay. I think I leave my next question for another time. Thank you so much. Carolyn.
No, you can ask it. I know. I mean, you feel so comfortable here. You just think you're talking to me, and I have all the time in the world, right?
Thank you. No, I'm trying to talk really quickly. One thing is Kangen. I have Kangen Water, which is alkaline water. Probably you know about it. And I see the calcium is visible in this water sometimes. I mean, there's calcium deposit in my pots and stuff. So if that is so, do I need recalcia at all? Even if, if my mom, for example, if she has Kangen also, if she is having calcium deficiency in her body?
I really don't know how much calcium you can get from the water. I think what I'd have to tell you is the next time you get blood tests, make sure you get a calcium test to see how the levels are, or read my Remite Recalcia book to see where you need to get calcium either from the diet or from water. I mean, the whole business about alkaline water, I moved away from it, because when you drink alkaline water into your stomach, which is supposed to be acidic to help digest your food, I don't think it's a very good idea to do that, because right away your stomach acid has to get rid of the alkalinity of the water. So I think it puts a stress on the body. Because you see what I mean? The stomach is acid, you drink alkaline, the body has to neutralize the alkalinity for it to pass on. So it takes energy to do that.
But my digestion is amazing. It's very good. And of course, especially the Remag and Remite that I'm taking, I really feel very good about myself, and I really feel good about this water also.
Okay, well then that's what you do. You have to go by how you feel. So, and I don't know much more about it. I don't know about the calcium in it, what that means, but that's why I say just get a test on your calcium and make sure it's okay. All right.
Okay, and vitamin D. Do I need vitamin D? I'm confused about. You talked about vitamin D, that you don't need much of it when you take.
Right. Well, you have to read more. You have to read about it some more to understand the premise. But what we do is we use Blue Ice Royal, which has vitamin A, D, and K2. It's on one of my blogs called Dr. Dean Supplement Recommendations. But all these answers you can get straight away when you email support@rnareset.com. Okay?
All right. Okay.
You don't have to wait for the phone.
All right. Thanks a lot for everything.
You're welcome. Thank you for calling.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay, excellent. Wonderful call. Thank you so much. Excellent. Great questions. All right, let's go to area code 407. 407, you're on the line with Dr. Dean this evening. If you could give us your name and then state your question or comment.
Hi, my name is Sharon Register. I'm in Orlando, Florida. I suddenly came across Dr. Dean's video. Just appeared in front of me. For good reason, of course. I started a detox program back on November 1st. Basically, it's a very intense detox, 28 days. And I felt really good the first week. And probably about the third week in, I started with cramping in the calves and in the feet, and to the point where it was keeping me up at night. And it would be, when I would get into bed, it would be bad, and sometimes to the point of Charlie horses, where I'd have to get up and walk it out. And I would soak in the tub, and I would have my husband rub my legs with a magnesium oil, and this is before coming across you. Long story short, I didn't know if it was just, something like tight calf muscles because I did a lot of walking and exercising as well during the detox. I proceeded to do 2 more 7-day detoxes after that, and it got worse to the point where I couldn't keep it under control, and it would keep me up all night. So that's when your video appeared, and I talked to Julie last Thursday when I put my order in, and she recommended that I take Epsom salt bath. And, I ordered the Remag to start, and I just got that today. So I just had my first cup of Remag today. But on Thursday, when she recommended the Epsom salt bath, we have a place, I don't know if she told you this yet because she said she was going to tell you today. We have a store, it's called East Coast Floats, where it's a pod of 1,000 pounds of magnesium, and you just lay there and you float for an hour.
Yeah.
And my husband and I, he recommended doing it, so we went last Thursday and did an hour, and I have slept amazing last 4 nights.
Yeah. I know you're lying in this, like you say, 1,000 pounds of Epsom salt for an hour, so you're going to be absorbing a lot of magnesium. I know. I love the floats.
Oh, so you do float. Okay. Julie was going to tell you because she didn't know if you had heard about that.
I've heard about everything. I'll tell you. Right. I've been around for a long time, Sharon. But yeah, you proved it. You proved it to yourself. What the cramps were due to is magnesium deficiency. So what on earth were you doing with the detox that was flushing out your magnesium?
Well, here's the thing: is one of the products is called a calcium MD or calcium MK, which is did not know anything about calcium until we got your book and we read this video showed up and we watched that. That citrate is a laxative. So it's citrate in the calcium. It's a coral calcium citrate. Coral calcium, magnesium citrate, and vitamin K. So I would take that every night before bed, and in the morning when I would get up, I would be able to go to the bathroom 3 times.
Yeah,
and
so
one
you were
or 2 of them.
Yeah, were loose. Yeah, it's they're
Water.
giving you the laxative effect. Yeah, and that's pulling out your body's magnesium. Besides the fact that type of calcium is not really fully absorbed, so that calcium is building up in your body. No, that's not good at all. Wow.
And so that's what was causing my cramping in the calves and the feet?
Yes, you were pulling out your magnesium with the loose watery bowel movements. No, that's not good. I don't really trust detoxes. You can, what do we do? Oh, yeah, we have our Real line, and Remag is a gentle detox. And we know the body gets toxic, but we give it the building blocks to open the detoxification pathways instead of forcing a flushing action, which will just throw your minerals out of, and your intestinal flora out of balance.
So since doing the flotation device, do you think it's pulled a lot of that the calcium deposits out?
Well, it's more saturated your body, for the short term with magnesium, but when you get the Remag and you start taking that, then it will help dissolve any calcification that's built up. But it's basically you flushed out your magnesium. It's probably not too much more than that.
Yeah, I don't want to take calcium anymore. My husband keeps telling me, still take your calcium. I'm like, nope, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. In fact, one night I did take it. This was a couple weeks ago. I had stopped taking the calcium MK because we had come across your book and your video, and, oh, it's got citrate. So I'm like, nope, not taking it. And he's like, yes, you should continue to take it. So I took it one night, and that was a very bad night with cramps. Like my calves and my feet were so bad. So thank you for coming into my life.
Oh, you're welcome. And you can read more information. There's a lot of free ebooks at drcarolyndeanlive.com that will answer your questions. Because, like you say, you're new to this. And, you know, I don't want to shock you with too much stuff, but what I write is I try to be very, very basic and very straightforward, just to answer the questions that are out there. Like every woman over 40 is supposed to take calcium. Well, no, I don't think so. So just do some reading and get back to us with questions through the support line or on the phone. And just know that the worst is over. Okay?
Oh. Okay, thank you so much. I appreciate you coming into my life.
Well, you're welcome, and thank you for coming into our lives. It's great.
Oh, okay, thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Okay, Sharon, bye-bye.
Okay, 9 minutes to the top of the hour, and we've got one more caller, and then we'll go back to the chat line for me and wrap up the show. So let's go to our caller here. I took your phone off mute. You're on Skype, I believe. Hello?
Hello?
Yes, you're on TV.
Perfect. This is Mary.
Hi, Mary.
Hi. I have a question regarding onion bread consisting of the food drying process of the onion itself, so it has nothing else. And I am wondering if when the onion gets to dry, can it be possible that it collects yeast? Question I'm asking because every time that I eat this crisp, and I go to the bathroom, the urine has a very strong smell, as if it were yeast.
I don't know much about this onion bread, but is it something you buy in the store, Mary?
Yes, I buy at a health food store. And ingredients, it reads onions, golden flaxseed, raw sunflower seed, extra virgin oil, and sea salt. It says gluten-free, dairy-free, sugar-free. But my imagination has taken me to when it is sizzling, if you may, when it's evaporating all the juices of the onion. I'm wondering if that process, it could be forming some type of yeast. And I have experienced the same scent when I started taking the magnesium, but it was at a much lower scent level, whereas with the onion, it is like 300%. It's so much more noticeable. Initially, I thought it was because it's pulling yeast off me, because that's the reason that I had assumed when I'm taking magnesium that's happening through my body. But because it is so higher, I thought perhaps I'm ingesting yeast and my body's just taking it away when I go to the bathroom.
Right. Well, what I'm wondering, Mary, is if onions are very high in carbohydrates. So I'm wondering if the carbohydrate of the onions is feeding your yeast, and then that would mean yeast are growing, they're going through a life cycle, you know, they go very quickly, and then the yeast toxins would be released in the urine.
All right. So the idea is not to take it, it's not that it's going to pull it out to my body more, the one that it's supposed to still be there, but it's going to bring more that is not necessary. Perfect.
Correct. It's growing yeast. So it's what we talk about in the carbs feeding yeast. And, you know, people might not think of it, but when you cook onions, they caramelize. They go very sweet. And probably the process of making this onion bread is using a lot of onions, so it's going to be look on the label when you can, Mary, and see how many carbohydrates, okay?
Yes, it reads, because I have it right here, carbohydrates, 1 gram, which is 0%.
Oh, that's not much. Interesting.
My assumption it is that drying effect, it's very much, you just see the onion. There's no bread as in flour or anything added to it. You just see the rings that are dried. So I'm guessing that when you evaporate all the water that the regular onion has, a natural onion, that it may be collecting some sort, I don't know if it's the sugar you were mentioning, that it is just feeding and cooking and attracting more yeast, I guess.
Yeah, it's hard. I'll have to think about that. I cannot believe it's only 1 gram of carbohydrates, because onions themselves have a lot of carbohydrates. So I don't know if, does it say sugar anywhere on the label?
It's a sugar-free, so the label itself reads 20 calories, calories from fat 10, total fat 1.5 gram, which is 2%, saturated fat 1 gram, which is 5%, trans fat 0, sodium 30 milligrams, 1%, total carbohydrates 1 gram, which is per serving, and serving size is half an ounce, serving per container are 8, and then dietary fiber 0, protein 0, and all the other vitamins 0. It tastes good.
Well, I mean, all you have to say now, it doesn't make any sense, but because it's detoxing your yeast or creating yeast, then you have to decide if you want to keep taking it or just take it every once in a while.
Right. I rather limit it. I thought initially it was a good snack to entertain my taste buds, but if it is indeed creating more, absolutely, I don't want it in my diet.
Right. Very good. Very interesting. Anything else?
No, that's all. Thank you very much. Always super interesting. I'm growing with you, and I appreciate all that food process.
Thank you. Thank you, Mary. Good night now.
Absolutely. Bye.
Okay, our other Mary here, Carolyn, has been very patient. She thought she was getting lost. There's been a very robust conversation on the chat line, lots of people going back and forth talking about the keto diet and all kinds of things. And so she thought her question was getting lost, but it wasn't lost. And Mary wants to know, Carolyn, can you tell me what the protocol would be to heal cold sores on the lips? Thank you.
Right. Well, the people are using the Pico Silver. They're putting Renew Serum on it or Rna Reset Drops. If you have some of the different antifungals, oregano oil, dab a little bit of that on, or tea tree oil. All these things are strong, so you just be careful to just dab a little bit. I used to have horrible cold sores when I was younger, and I was afraid actually of moving to Maui that I'd be plagued with them. But a couple of years into Maui, I started creating and taking my products, and I don't get cold sores anymore. So partly it's boosting your immune system so that virus doesn't come to the surface. But if it does, like if I were to burn my lips in the sun, they might pop out, and then I would just. I haven't had one since the Pico Silver came out, but I think I'd start with the Pico Silver because I know when I eat too much sugar and I get a little tiny staphylococcal boil in my nose, I can just dab that with a little bit of Pico Silver liquid and it's gone overnight. So not that I want to have a cold sore to test the Pico Silver, but that's what I'd use first.
Okay, and with just a minute to wrap up the show, Carolyn, is there any kind of a homeopathy in our little homeopathy kit that works with these kinds of things, or no, mostly just the Pico Silver, eh?
Yeah, that's a good point. In the past, what I've done is gotten specific homeopathic for herpes. It's not in our kit, but you can Google herpes homeopathy and come up with companies who do sell homeopathic herpes remedies.
Yes. I have also been encouraged in the power of homeopathy this week with my weird little eyeball situation, and Dr. Dean whipped out her kit, and the next thing you know, I was good to go. So listen, you guys, we've had a great show this evening. Thanks, everybody, for cooperating, participating, contributing, sharing, keeping up the good flow of energy, and dedicating yourself to your own health. If everybody takes care of their own health, we'd be in a perfect condition in this world, for sure, for sure. And thank you, Carolyn, once again, for your incredible contribution. Just really, really honor and respect you. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Ginny. Thank you, Bob. Thank you, Bill. Thank you, audience.
Thanks, everybody. Have a great week. We'll talk to you next week.
You've been listening to Live with Dr. Carolyn Dean here on AchieveRadio.com. Till next time, so long, and thanks for all the fish.
AchieveRadio.com.